those things? Called birds. Birds. Most beautiful creature. Flying everywhere. Creating many things. And there's at least thousands of species from birds. But what's the question that we ask? Oh yeah, where did they come from? What are the parents of the birds? What is the grandfather, great-grandfather, or heck, the ancestor of the birds? That's what we're going to be talking to you about in this video. The evolution of reptiles to birds. Those are ducks, but you know, flying everywhere.
First up is myself, Maureen, your brainy scientist. Together we can solve the mystery of the evolutionary transition from reptiles to first birds, finding their history. Let's go. In the late 1860s, the descendants of birds from dinosaurs was first proposed by Thomas Henry Huxley, who was a famous supporter of Darwin and his ideas. The skeleton of Archaeopteryx is clearly dinosaurian. You might be asking yourself, what is a dinosaurian? Well, it is a fossil reptile of the Mesozoic era. Huxley based his hypothesis of the relationship of birds to dinosaurs on Archaeopteryx. The boundaries between the great blocks of geological time, called eras, are defined by major changes in the times of fossils found in the rocks deposited in those eras. Paleozoic means ancient animals, Mesozoic means middle animals, and Cenozoic means recent animals. Triplotypes and shelled animals called brachiopods are common and typical Paleozoic fossils.
Is Joshua, Hector, and Jonathan going to talk to us about the description of the fossil record?
What's up, guys? So now that we know about the geographical time period of where they were and how they came from, we gotta start with the actual animals, or as we put it, reptiles. Now, birds geographically started from reptiles, or dinosaurs, back then. Dinosaurs back then, we're gonna start in the Jurassic period, where these dinosaurs called theropods, or theropods, were formed. They're pretty much like miniature versions, or medium-sized versions of raptors, or you know, like those raptors you see in Jurassic Park. The theropods are a big family and pretty much related to and linked to the birds that we know of today. The first theropods we can describe are the allosaurids. The allosaurids, they look more like T-Rexes, but a miniature version. Throughout the geographical time period and the climate that started to change, the birds, the dinosaurs adapted to these to the climate. So all of a sudden, they started to form feathers, as we put it. These feathers started to form on arms, yet they could not fly. They just ran. These feathers made them faster too. Next up, we're coming up with is the Compsognathids ran pretty fast. They ran so fast, it couldn't even be described. Through that, we come through the first theropods that started to form feathers. These are the Oviipsaurus. The Oviipsaurus started to create feathers through every part of their body. Like every scale that they had changed. Feathers grew and different fur grew. Now we come to the linked and most original form of a bird called the Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx is a distinct bird, ancient bird that we have from ancient times, actually after the dinosaurs, because you see, the big extinction happened with the dinosaurs. A meteorite, as we presume, came and crashed and killed most of the population. The thing is, we believe that some mammals or some reptiles were able to bury themselves under the ground and come out alive, survive the big extinction, as we put it, the apocalypse. And those birds started to evolve. Those reptiles started to grow. From Archaeopteryx, a whole new species of birds was created. Throughout the time, thousands of species you know of originated from that bird. That bird was the link from dinosaur reptile to bird modern day. And that is the geographical fossil of birds that we know of today.
It came from the Jurassic period of the dinosaur age.
What's the Jurassic period?
The Jurassic period is the second and most common known period of the dinosaurs. Most species we know originated from here.
Nice. What was the climate like?
The climate was warm and moist. It's Florida without winter.
Now, what dinosaurs came from this period that eventually became birds?
Most of these dinosaurs were called theropods. I think couple matter here. They were rocky-like creatures. Through time, they adapted to the climate by creating feathers on their skin.
Did the first birds come from this period?
No, most of the ancestors came after the period, or came after the extinction.
So, what are the specific creatures and names that came?
We are going to talk about that in our next segment.
So now we know where the first birds originated from, and we know how they originated. So a quick review of what we talked about. First, we talked about the climate and habitat of the first birds. Then we talked about how they became birds from their first ancestors called allosaurids, through all the way down to the most recent ancestors, Archaeopteryx. And finally, we talked about the characteristics and similarities in the structures to the modern birds of today. Will birds evolve to more creatures? Will there be new species that are as big as cars? Evolution Ion will determine this in the future. The future depends on us and how we will be able to treat these creatures with respect, or we will treat them so bad that their extinction will be inescapable. Thank you for your time.